One of the questions that I've been getting fairly often over the last few years is why am I doing this heavy strength training, and why am I competing in strongman? And it's actually a pretty good question because it's something that I've been thinking of for a long time before I started. And basically, when I was young at school, I did karate, did that for 11 years, and got my black belt when I was 16. And then after that, I kind of I, I was interested in arm wrestling and strength training, but I never really had like another big goal to work towards. And so after high school, which was arguably a huge waste of time, I went into university, and it was kind of the ideal environment for me. So I took extra subjects each semester, and I was working, say, like 12 hours a day um, on assignments, exams, studying on average. And I didn't have a lot of time for anything outside of that because university was about 2 hours away via buses and 2 hours back. And I did that for several years. I did extremely well. Got a whole bunch of scholarships, got the university medal, went overseas and did internship at the Large Hadron Collider, then went into another scholars program for my master's, and then started my PhD. And at some point, I think when I was about 25, I realized I was still going to the gym sort of on and off and still making progress in sort of 3 month bursts, but I still didn't really have a big goal to work towards. And I realized at some point, like, holy shit, I'm working an insane amount. I'm tutoring, writing up my PhD, running classes, and doing an academic administration work for this college. But in terms of physical development, I haven't really progressed much past when I was in high school. So I met Max at the college, and he was a very interesting character because he was probably the only person who was serious about strength training, and everyone else at college was relatively weak compared to Max. So I thought, well, Max seems to know what he's doing, and he seems to be passionate about this stuff, so I should get to know more. And at some point, he got interested in strongman, and he told me about it, and I thought, damn, that sounds really cool. That sounds like the next big thing that I want to work towards. So I tried going to a few sessions with Max early on before he became a strongman coach, and I don't know, they just killed me. They were early morning, and I just didn't have enough time to keep up with it. But about a year or two later, Max was full time coaching, and I told him, I want to compete in a strongman competition. Is it possible? And he believed it was. I was sort of unsure at the time because the level of strength and athleticism required to do strongman compared to uh, just training the standard lifts at the gym was quite significant. But I did a year of training and competed in strongman, managed to complete all the events, made it to the finals, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people I met. I liked their mindset. There was a sort of honesty about it. Like, no one could sort of bullshit about how good they were, or no one pretended to be better than they were. So it was just a very transparent um, crowd where people who did well were the ones that they put in the most effort um, in training and also at home in terms of nutrition and sleep. And I feel like I got to a point where everything felt balanced, and I realized I'd finally been able to bring up my physical ability and physical condition to match my sort of mental capabilities. And I felt like that was a better representation of my character than before because I felt really strong mentally, and I felt like I could do I could do really difficult things that most people struggle with very easily in terms of mathematics and physics. And I was finally getting to a stage where my physical body started to match my mental capabilities. And I felt a lot more complete as an adult. I've thought about why other people do strength training, and some do it because they want to look good, some do it because they want, I guess, they want to feel confident in themselves or want to feel physically safe. I can't remember any time that I felt physically unsafe in my whole life after I started doing karate. So it wasn't those reasons for me. It was more about seeing how far can I push my physical limits and what can I do if I put a combined scientific and anecdotal approach to my training. How far can I go? And so really that's where I'm at the moment. It's just setting new goals for different lifts and progressing to be as strong as I can, while at the same time still developing my mental faculties and musical abilities and sort of spiritualism. But I feel like strength training somehow it brings all of those things together and they kind of reflect off each other. So you just see a lot of different patterns and similarities. And I guess one of the best things about strength training is that once you know what to do and once you have a decent program, all you have to do is trust the process and go through and do everything and stick to it. You have days where you don't feel so well or where you feel less motivated or where you just run down and tired. But you stick to the plan and you do what you need to do. And then the end result is that you come out a lot stronger or a lot better than you were before. And that's kind of the addiction, I guess, to chasing new personal bests, is that feeling of accomplishment and seeing all of your hard work paying off in a very physical and direct way. Whereas compared to mental development, you still see huge payoffs for the things that you learn, but they're not always immediate and not always transparent. It's more like based on opportunity. And it's really strange because I've met some brilliant academics and people who have such powerful minds, and they put in so much effort into what they do, but it's like they've developed themselves way out of proportion and kind of left their physical health aside. And I don't think you can do that these days because you end up with complications later in life if you don't take care of your physical condition early on. And I feel like if you spend all your time doing one thing, you become very one-dimensional. And the types of people you'll meet and hang around with will be all very similar. So you won't get exposed to as much different ideas or different philosophies or people with different opinions as much. And I think whatever you end up doing, you want to be doing a few different things so that you're developing yourself in a more complete manner and surrounding yourself with a more eclectic group of people rather than becoming a one-dimensional person living in a one-dimensional world.